This is Global Missing Persons Alert, Interpol Yellow Notice number 21-22733. And this is July 9th, 2005. It's sometime between 7 and 8 o'clock p.m., I think. I can't look at the device now. There we got Department of Defense, Patriot Act, Police. That's who Consumers Energy is, and that's who DTE Energy is. They are Department of Defense. Well, there was two cocksuckers, two Patriot Act terrorists, and Consumers Energy trucks yesterday that were following me, and I called them out to their face as Department of Defense, Patriot Act, targeted individuals, gang stalking operations. That was in the parking lot up there by Homeland Security's Walmart. Planet Fitness, who made a really big mistake today and fucking with me. And up at the Tech Center Spy Nest at 12 Mile and Van Dyke. Whole thing's a spy operation. You got Walmart, Planet Fitness, Marshall's Mall, Department of Defense's Oshkosh, children's clothing. You know why Department of Defense has children's clothing stores? Well, let me tell you why. Okay, that's for finding children, for their targeted kidnapping, human children, human child sex, organ, and satanic occult ritual and sacrifice trafficking and murder and terrorist operations. Okay, now up there, the whole spy nest up there, and we got 5 and below, and that cosmetic store, Ulta, I think it's called. I'll have to actually double check that tomorrow, and if I got the name wrong, I'll have to clarify that later. But those are all Satanist. Okay, and Macomb County, Michigan, USA, like I have said before, is notorious for deep, dark, underground, classified Satanism because of the Great Lakes, because of the ley lines and the portals. And there is a black car that the DARPA agents I am communicating with verified is working with this Patriot Act terrorist, in which he was coming right down that street, and just as he passed this first tree behind that truck right there, he was stopped right there watching me while this son of a whore turned in. He didn't realize I was going to sit down right here and stare him down and sit here and talk about him with the DARPA satellite agents that I'm talking with right now, and he didn't realize I was going to pull this phone out and start videoing, so I don't think he cared. So anyways, let me tell you folks something. These Americans aren't real bright. They're dumber than dumb. They've been fucking with me all day. They're going up in front of me because I fucked them. I fucked them so fucking bad, and I'm not done. See, I have to go up behind them to all these businesses, including the Muslim-owned businesses, all down Van Dyke through Warren and Centerline, and I have to undo the slander that they went all down and slandered my name with. Okay? These cockroaches run up in front of me in fear of their pathetic fucking lives, and they go in all these business of all these idiots with their CIA and Homeland contracted cover front businesses, and they slander my name. And like I said, they tell them they used to tell them I'm mentally ill, and they can't do that anymore because I've printed out 1 million copies of my 7-page psych evaluation that gives me the credibility that they don't have, and I pass them out like they're the Sunday newspaper. At the same time, I post my psych evaluation all over the internet. And that's come back to bite them in the ass and make them look real fucking stupid and expose them as the lying-ass desperate terrorists that they are, while their own agents have turned against them as a result of me doing that over the last year and a half. And so now they just stick with I'm under federal investigation. And I'm on the Patriot Act and the terrorist watch list. Which, yes, I am on the Patriot Act and the terrorist watch list. And that's because that's how America legalizes their Patriot Act operations for targeting, kidnapping, human, child, organ, sex, and satanic occult ritual and sacrifice trafficking, murder, and international and domestic terrorist operations. That's why there's 4-year-old kids who've been on that Patriot Act and terrorist watch list from the day they were born, before they could even walk and talk, because that's how these pedophiles, these human crucifying, human flesh eating, human blood drinking, child butt fucking pedophile Satanists of America legalize their operations. So, in all their pathetic desperation, they have they got the people at the Planet Fitness who did fuck with me originally when I first started going there, and I believe it was 2023. Okay, they would fuck with me about the tanning booth. Okay, like if say I went in the tanning booth at 3:00 p.m. yesterday. If I got there at 2:00 today, they would make me sit there 1 hour. They claim that there's a that there's a federal or state law that says it has to be exactly 24 hours to the hour, which is a bunch of fucking shit. They're lying cocksuckers. Okay, they're the lying serpent seed of Cain, because I've been tanning in tanning salons for 25 years. Okay, I know how it goes. And so then they got something happened. Well, 1 second, please. What happened is we sat there and we talked about them while I was on the hydro massage bed. And we talked about them, me and my international detail, who's in Germany, communicating with me through DARPA satellite interfacing. And so America's DARPA terrorist, which includes those agents of Planet Fitness who were watching and listening, they heard everything. And they stopped doing that. Well, I go on that hydro massage, and I used to, it only goes 7 minutes, because, you know, you're not supposed to really actually get any benefit. You're just supposed to get a tease, just enough to know that it does something, but not enough to get a result, because that's how everything in America works, and that's how the FDA regulates everything to be. So, I used to do the 7 minutes, and then I'd go up to the desk again. I'd say, can you start it again? And they told me, okay, then they started telling me after the whole fucking with me about the tanning booth shit stopped. It's most specifically Felicia, the manager of the Planet Fitness at 12 and Van Dyke. She's controlled. She's the puppet that's controlled by the puppet masters of Planet Fitness, who are CIA, Macomb County Corporate Council, and the Army and Department of Defense, who control her. So, she suddenly got real nice, and, and they said, oh, no, you don't have to come up here every time. Call. That's what everybody else does. Oh, a lot of people do it. And to be quite honest, I felt kind of embarrassed doing that, like some entitled bitch laying on the massage table, just calling these people who I know are busy, and that's probably not their job. Like, hey, can you start the massage table again? And they go, no, don't worry about it. Everybody does it. So that's what I've been doing for the last about year and a half now, okay? All of a sudden today it was a problem, okay? Enough of a problem. that Felicia walked back there after they had started it and I was on the thing and I couldn't hear her. I said, I can't hear you. It's too loud. So she said, oh, so she walked out. So then when I went up to the desk on my way out, I told her, I said, I couldn't hear you. And she says, well, we're too busy answering the phone behind here for this. This phone is ringing off. I says, if you remember, I used to come up here. If you remember, you, not just her, others are the ones there who told me to do that. Well, I know, but we're just too busy at this time of day. Yeah, well, guess what? I don't work here, so I can't be expected to know that. I'm only doing it the way you people told me to do it. So for now on, I'll just go back to coming back up here each time like I used to. Well, I think that's what you're going to have to do, she says. And she was not her usual friendly self. Now let's talk about the gas station at the corner of 12 Mile and Van Dyke, and I can't think of what name that gas station is. Maybe it's an Amoco, I'm not sure. It's right at the corner of 12 Mile and Van Dyke, and it is on the southwest corner right across from that Tech Plaza. Now, they're very nice to me in there. Now, okay, going back a couple of years ago, they weren't very friendly. And over time, they've just kind of started liking me, and, I guess, and I was remained friendly to them. They're Muslims too. They're Muslims whose CIA Macomb County Corporate Council went up in and slandered my name to. So we had a conversation today, and I explained to them how I'm a missing persons. I'm Interpol Yellow Notice number 21-22733, and how this is what happens when America puts people on the Patriot Act and terrorist lists for no other reasons but for kidnapping, human trafficking, and terrorism for their satanic cult. And they took their head in agreement. They knew exactly what I was talking about. Well, I went into the whole story about the CIA, about the U.S. State Department violating a highly classified Vatican International Spy Agreement between USA, CIA, Israel, and Germany by trafficking and outsourcing me and my family to the United States of filthy America for corporate espionage against Americans and to manufacture Islamic terrorism that wouldn't exist. And I proceeded to tell them about how I brought ICC Karim Khan from the International Criminal Court, the International Court of Justice with Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and Sheikh Imran Hussein of Trinidad as my representatives, along with 39 nations who hate America. And the whole time I was doing this, guess who was in there? A monkey face ape who was following me from one of CIA Macomb County corporate council's contracted operatives, who they have like 3 of them at a time following me like flies on shit everywhere I go. And a lot of them usually do get an earful and find out what they're sacrificial pawns for. And that guy did. That guy got an earful today. And I'm assuming he probably got in his car and went right to his handlers. Straight the fuck down to Macomb County to his fucking handlers. To say, what the fuck did you get me mixed? I don't want nothing to do with this. That's what usually happens. Okay? So, retaliatory PSYOP is still ongoing. Okay, I got part 1 and part 2, and I got part 3 waiting to be uploaded with several other videos, including, I told you in one of these last videos of this same ongoing retaliatory operation that I was going to get y'all a picture or a video of Jennifer that walks around in the red, white, and blue rag that looks just like the one that I wipe my ass with, as the Macomb County Homeland Security contracted con artist that she is, while she stands on the street corner in her red, white, and blue nightgown, disorderly conduct flagging for purposes of conning and scamming the tax-paying public who already pays her fucking salary. Okay? So, I got that. She's in a pink and white nightgown now, ever since I exposed the red, white, and blue one. And I told you I was going to get her in that pink and white nightgown, and I did. So that's waiting to be uploaded. I got a few things. Oh, I got my doctor's appointment from yesterday. That's going to be uploaded. So, what they're doing, CIA Macomb County Corporate Council is now and desperate going all up and down here. Oh, and at the Bin Castle Yemeni coffee shop at 12 and Van Dyke. Okay? Well, I let them know about 3 days ago who I was. What is the situation? I'm a regular customer there. Macomb County, CIA Macomb County hates that, and that scares the fuck out of them. Well, they got an earful the other day, and and it's going to continue. It's going to go on, and I am going to expose all of these CIA Muslim contracts. Okay, I told you they're funneling these people in from Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Bangladesh by the boatloads, okay, and giving them cover front owner businesses for their contracts, okay, because that's who Muslims are in America. That's who American Rand Foundation engineered Muslims are, okay? They've sold their soul and gave up their eternity to be servants and soldiers for great Satan's American Fourth Reich Nazi regime, and to target me, okay? And let's just call this a weeding out. It's an Islamic weeding out in preparation for the reemergence of Imam Mehdi. That's what we're doing here. It's a weeding out of all the fake, hypocritical, unbelieving Muslims who, gave up their salvation to, don't believe this shit. They're servants and soldiers of Allah. No, they're not. They're servants and soldiers for great Satan's American Fourth Reich Nazi regime. And they target Muslims like me. And they violate our rights. Anyways, let's get back to the all-black owned, gay-supporting Satanists that own Planet Fitness. That was a big mistake, and you motherfuckers, you better think twice up at Planet Fitness before you decide to violate me, profile me, target me, or violate my rights in any way, okay? I expect you punks to go ahead and just do what other people have done and change your rules all the way across the board and fuck everything up for everybody else just to fuck me, because that's what you better do. That's what you better do, and I'm still gonna fuck you, okay? So, that's what we got there. America's Patriot Act Police, Consumers Energy. This little narcissistic fucking Satan is gonna keep sitting there. Sit there, bitch. Sit there, because I'm gonna exploit the fuck out of you. I was headed, back to wherever I was going. But no, I decided to do this instead. So, now that we've got him, I'm going to shut this down because I'm going to go look for another poor vulnerable victim to exploit. This is Global Missing Persons Alert, Interpol Yellow Notice number 21-22733.